Hey folks, Jake Newton, CPPS, and sharing a couple minutes on the concept of insider threat, specifically kind of the expansion of the definition that we've been noticing over the past several years. Insider threat traditionally, as you may be aware, has had to deal a lot with things like espionage or information theft, particularly like, for example, within the U.S. government. There's constantly the competition between governments and governments trying to take secrets and bring them back to their host nation so that they can use them for advancement. Had a lot to do with things like that. And of course, there's the private sector ramifications of that as well. But there's really been an expansion over the past several years where the definition has been broadening and more inclusive. So insider threat, for many purposes, and actually the Federal Bureau of Investigation several years ago put out a pretty good video about this, but it's been continually growing to include a wider audience and more purposes. And so today what we've really noticed is an insider is anybody that has access to an organization's information, assets, people, facilities, or knowledge of those things, and then uses that knowledge for some sort of gain. And that's where they can become an insider threat. So and the insider threat is, okay, somebody has knowledge of this information, they've got knowledge of this organization or access, and then they use that knowledge to cause the organization and or its people harm. So traditionally, we may not have seen customers or traditional otherwise outsiders as being part of this definition. Vendors, consultants, customers, those sorts of things. But now, when you consider that broadening definition, it really does include a lot of those folks. So the programs are broadening. And what does that mean if we're trying to mitigate these issues or have a prevention program? Well, we need to broaden the scope. We need to have what we call at the center an all hazards perspective, where we're looking at the different folks that engage our organization. We are prepared for the different operations that we have ongoing and looking at all of these different assets and being prepared for potential threats that can come against them. And the other side of this that we're looking at now that there's a really growing trend for, and this is part of resulting from the definition expanding, is there's the technical indicators, somebody sticking a USB drive in a computer wrongfully and trying to get access to information or pull information, and that gets picked up by the IT department. A lot of those different things, or somebody trying to badge into a place where they shouldn't go. But there's also the behavioral side of this as well, which we'll talk about more in later videos. But the behavioral side is just as important because now we can create an environment of awareness. We can train people to look out for the behavioral indicators, because there are many, that we can look at behavioral change and be able to identify these different concerns and ultimately have a culture of prevention. We like to say awareness plus action equals prevention. So being aware of these different indicators, taking action on them, oftentimes that means reporting, and then that is one of our big recipes for prevention of these different issues. We've got a new video that we've released about this topic. We call it Insider Threat Awareness and Prevention, that really deals with this and makes it relevant for everybody in the organization to help have a stake in protecting the organization as well as its people. So we'll link that. You can check that out, and thanks for watching.